What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing my UFC 313 recap, giving you guys my thoughts on the card as a whole, on the fights. So, the main event, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. Now, before I say anything about this fight, I want to say Magomed Ankalaev impressed me. He did extremely well. I think it was a very close fight. But I think Alex Pereira won. I think he won the first round. I think he won the third round. And I think he won the fifth round. But throughout the fight, Ankalaev did kind of just like, he looked like the winner because he was walking forward. He shut down Pereira's striking very well. He didn't give him much space to throw kicks. The kicks Pereira were landing, like the kicks that he was landing, they weren't very effective. Like, I thought he'd be buckling Ankalaev's legs. He wasn't. Ankalaev dealt with the kicks very well. He controlled Pereira's lead hand very well, so he couldn't get his jab and his left hook going. And he just outboxed him. I knew he was a better boxer in close, but I didn't think he'd be able to get there so easily. I thought Pereira would be using his jab much more effectively to stop Ankalaev from closing the distance. Pereira landed some nice head kicks, but a lot of what he was doing was just the kicks. But I think in the first, third, and fifth round, especially the fifth round, I think he won clearly because he hurt Magomed with a head kick. He had him backing up. He landed a good jab, and he just outstruck him in that round. The fourth round, Magomed won, I guess. I feel like the clinching up against the fence, that's a completely neutral position, but I mean, he won the round, I guess, because Alex Pereira was the one against the fence. So, I can make a whole other video about that. I don't think anybody's winning the round there, but if you got to give the round to somebody, you give it to Magomed because he did initiate the clinch, I guess. Round three, I think Pereira landed more strikes. Neither of them landed anything really significant. Magomed landed a nice jab in round three, and that's about it. He was landing some nice teep kicks, some nice body kicks, and his left hand was money. I knew that the left hand would be money. But overall, I just didn't think he'd be able to walk Pereira down so easily. I thought Pereira would be able to like stand his ground, throw more punches. But I think number one, he was, even though he stuffed every takedown, he was worried about the takedown the whole fight. And in round two, when he almost got dropped by Ankalaev, I think he was hesitant the whole fight after that. I think round two, he was really starting to like settle into the fight, and then boom, he gets fucking clocked. But I still thought he won, and this was one of his worst performances, and I still think you could give it to him. But Magomed did really fight the perfect fight. He shut Pereira's game down very well in the rounds that he won. And round three, don't get me wrong, it was extremely close. I just think Pereira landed more strikes, and I think he landed a little bit better. But yeah, Pereira's takedown defense shocked me. I'm extremely surprised. I know Magomed isn't a wrestler, but he does have good wrestling, and he was actually able to take Magomed down at the end of the fourth round. I just want to say, dude, that's the only fucking takedown in the round. Pereira could win round four if you really get into it. But he was able to take Magomed down. He tripped him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No, that doesn't matter. But he was able to take him down. But yeah, Pereira's takedown defense fucking surprised me. Um, and his striking surprised me in a bad way. He wasn't able to land punches. He landed like 10 punches the whole time. Um, but the rounds that he won, I did think he did enough with his kicks. He landed some very nice head kicks. I knew that those would work very well. Magomed doesn't defend head kicks very well. Um, and yeah, a head kick is what won Pereira the fifth round. I just can't believe not a single judge gave him round three because there were 4 rounds in this fight that were easy to score. Clearly, like, very easy to score. 1 is Pereira's. Easily. 5 is easily Pereira's. 2, Magomed's easily. And 4, you gotta give the round to Magomed. Even though nothing fucking happened the whole entire round, it was just up against the fence. Pereira was the one up against the fence, I guess, so you gotta give it to Magomed. And round 3 was the swing round, but like I said, I think Pereira did enough to edge that round out. So overall, I think Pereira fought like shit. Magomed fought perfectly, and I still think Pereira did enough to win. we need to see a rematch. I think Pereira could win a rematch. I think he'll let his hands go more, knowing that number one, his leg kicks are not going to work as well as they do against other people. Um, and number two, he knows he can stuff the takedowns easily. So I think he will let his hands go more this time. I think he was really just relying on his kicks. I think he was just waiting. He was like, all right, one more kick, and his legs will start to buckle. Then I can let my hands go. I think that was a silly game plan, just focusing on just kicks. I think he will be more punch heavy if they have a rematch. I think he'll win a rematch by decision. I think it'll be close, but I think it'll be clearer for him. But got to see a rematch. If they don't do a rematch, let's say Pereira wants to take some time off, it's got to be Ankalaev versus Yuri. I would love to see that fight. But let's get on to the co-main event. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. I thought Fiziev won the fight. So Fiziev is very unlucky. Back in 2023, he fights Gaethje. He's on the wrong end of a very close decision that Gaethje could have won. I get it. It was very close. I'm not saying it's a robbery. The main and the co-main event, they weren't robberies. I just think the other guy won in both of them. But Fiziev, he's on the wrong end of a close decision against Gaethje the first time. Then he blows out his knee against Gamrot, and then he comes back on 12 days notice, which he was like in shape, but he just didn't have a fight camp. And he goes out there, he does phenomenal in the first round, he's doing great in the second round, then he gets dropped with a fucking uppercut from hell. That's one of Gaethje's best punches, is that uppercut where he grabs the back of your neck, and then he just fucking slings an uppercut. That was amazing. And then I thought Fiziev won round three. Round three was like early on in the round, Fiziev was doing great, and then later on in the round, Gaethje was doing great. But I thought Fiziev did enough to win the fight. He clearly won round one, and round three was like nearly a 50-50, but I did think he did enough. But either way, it's crazy to me that Justin Gaethje is still going. Like, he doesn't scream longevity to me. He screams, I'm gonna get knocked the fuck out in my next fight. But it never happens. Like, it happened against Holloway. But he's always in these wars, these tough fights, and he just got knocked out so bad against Holloway. And then he comes back, and he beats Rafael Fiziev. It's crazy. I didn't think he would be in the title picture at fucking 37 years old. But I say they rebook the Dan Hooker fight for Justin Gaethje, and then they do Rafael Fiziev versus Grant Dawson. But great fight. But let's move on to the feature fight. Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. I don't know what the fuck Turner was doing. I don't have a lot to say about this fight. It was kind of even on the feet, and then I think Ignacio shot a takedown and Turner reversed him, and then he was on top, and then he just fucking lets himself get triangled. Like, Ignacio has good submissions, we know that. It's just, I don't know. Jalen Turner said he was going to retire. I hope he doesn't retire. He's young. I think he should take some time off, just think about things, and then move up to 170. He's very big for lightweight. This just disappointed me because I was picking Ignacio the whole time, and then I went back and watched their fights again, and I was like, I think Turner's got this. And then he just fucking fumbles again. He's got all the skills to be an elite fighter, but he just doesn't have, like, the fight IQ. But I hope he doesn't retire. I still think he's a great fighter. There was a reason he's still in the rankings, even coming off of, like, 2 losses that he was coming off of. So, yeah, I hope he doesn't retire. I hope he just takes some time off to really think about things, maybe think about moving to 170. But let's move on to this fight. Fuck this fight. Banish this shit to the prelims. I should make a whole video about it. This shit needs to be on the prelims. Early prelims. First fight on the card. Banish them to the prelims for this. This was fucking terrible. I have nothing more to say. Let's get on to the highlight of the card. Mauricio Rufy defeats Bobby Green with a fucking spinning wheel kick from hell. He was backing Bobby Green up the whole fight. He landed 2 strikes in the fight. One wobbled Bobby Green, and the next one fucking sent him to the Shadow Realm. Fucking killed him. It was amazing. One of the best KOs I've ever seen. Rufy is that guy. If he has good takedown defense, which I think he does, Like, you could watch his fight on the Contender Series. I do think he has good grappling. He is going to be a problem for everybody. Um, he threw a left hook, and he missed it on purpose, and then he transitioned it perfectly into a spinning wheel kick, landed heel right to Bobby Green's temple. It was fucking art. It was beautiful. Hoofy is that guy. He is that guy. If you're a fighter and you're on a losing streak, put on a pair of glasses, take your ass to Brazil, join the fighting nerds. You get plot armor. You get fucking plot armor. Absolutely amazing stuff from Mauricio Hoofy. Give him fucking whoever. I don't care who he fights next. Just make it fun. Give him a fun fight. This guy, I think he's special. He's an amazing striker, and I can't wait to see where he goes in the future. But on to Joshua Van versus Ray Saruya. Ray Saruya was Batista maxing, and it didn't work. Listen, in an MMA fight, you have to know how to throw punches. You have to know how to hurt people with your hands and your legs. And Ray Saruya just doesn't know how to do that, I guess. Joshua Van just pieced him up on the feet. He stuffed every takedown. This was a terrible performance from Ray Saruya. You have to mix striking with your grappling. You cannot just grapple unless you are literally a fucking phenom. And Ray Saruya is not a phenom. He's an amazing grappler, but not enough to where it's just going to work by itself. So this guy is going to get his ass beat every fight if he doesn't develop some nice striking. But Joshua Van looked great. Stuffed every takedown with ease. He got taken down like twice, and then he got right back up. Saruya hit a cool throw, and that's about all Saruya did. And Van really just pieced him up on the feet. Let's get Van back in the rankings, have him fight Tagir Ulanbekov. I think that's a perfect fight for him, and I think he would piece Tagir up. But what's next? Yeah, Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Petrosian. Did not go how I thought it would. Ferreira improved his grappling a lot. It's clear that he was focusing on that after getting submitted. And he didn't look great on the feet, but he looked okay. Armin Petrosian looked pretty good on the feet, but he landed like 2 groin kicks. So, great performance for Bruno Ferreira. Not much to say about it. Let's have this guy in a fun fight next. You know, he did great. Screams to me that he's been working on his grappling, which is good. I like to see that. If you go out and get submitted, and then in your next fight you get a submission, that's always a good sign. So, yeah, great stuff from Bruno Ferreira. What's next? Carlos Leal versus Alex Morono. Carlos Leal is fucking jacked. He's a beast, and he's got fast twitch muscle fibers. He can hurt people, and Alex Morono can't unless he gets a crafty little guillotine. And when I say hurt people, I'm not talking about me. Alex Morono would whoop my ass. He'd send me into next week, and that's okay. He should. He's a pro fighter. But, yeah, you can't be like Alex Morono in the UFC. It's not going to work out. Leal destroyed him. I think this guy could be a top 15 contender. He's just a fucking beast. So, I can't wait to see his next fight. So, yeah. And, I mean, compare this to, like, how Joaquin Buckley did against Alex Morono. I'm just saying, like, this is impressive to be able to knock Alex Morono out. Even though, like, I just don't look at Alex Morono and see a good fighter. But he is a good fighter. So, yeah, this was great stuff from Carlos Leal. On to the next one. Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. I think people are overreacting a little bit about this fight. You know, Myron Santos could have won. Like, he busted Marshall's nose in round 2. He was doing great in round 1 until he got caught. And round 3, it was close. I don't think Marshall clearly won. I thought he won at first, but I could see them giving it to Santos. But at the end of the day, if you're going to be something in the UFC, you've got to be doing much better against Francis Marshall than this. So, I hope Myron Santos gets a lot better. This was underwhelming. But, yeah. Ozzy Diaz versus Jordan Santos. I thought Santos won this fight pretty clearly the first 2 rounds. But you can't be having a close fight like this against Ozzy Diaz. It's just not going to work out. So, not much to say about this one. I'm disappointed. But, yeah. Great card. Not great. Honestly, it wasn't even that good. The main event could have been a lot better. It was a pretty boring fight. But, Magomed did great. Fizzy versus Gaethje was great. If this wasn't on the main card, this fucking terrible fight could have been a lot better. But, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and goodbye.